The following video is one in a series on spiritual resilience training, a non-religious view of personal values and their dynamics with others. The contents reflect a variety of principles and practices of systems theory and relational counseling for team building and family resilience. Although the series is intended to support Army Corps values, each video also encourages the viewer to reflect on their current prominent values in specific situations and to consider what values may be more appropriate to means and results that are honorable and helpful with others. Chaplain Dillard initiates creating and posting these videos. Their contents and YouTube's linked videos do not necessarily reflect specific beliefs, practices, requirements, or endorsements of the Department of Defense, its subordinate organizations, or other groups with which Chaplain Dillard is affiliated. Welcome back. We're continuing with our mini-series. If you didn't see the first part, I would encourage you to go back and view that. It does cover some foundational material that we will touch on today, but not go into in as much depth. So, this is what wrong can look like, not necessarily the way or the worst way, just a way that can go wrong when we don't process our full range of emotions and we have mixed emotions. Let's say that someone important to you wants to spend even more time with you, and that's your stressor. There's a lot of different reasons we could feel bad, mad, sad about that all at the same time. But again, chances are it's coming from a core value of one of the C3 IRAs. Remember, care, commitment, control, integrity, recognition, and or acceptance. Let's say, for discussion, that in this particular case, that my issue is control, that I want more control for whatever reason. Now, I have mixed emotions stemming from one issue, and that is this person wants more time with me, and I have a heart level value of control. The belief I have about this is that it will be time consuming, and that could make me angry. I might think that this is unrealistic to put more time in this particular relationship, and that might make me feel scared. I could think it will be disappointing because it won't turn out as well as I would like, and I could also think that it would be refreshing and a good thing to do. So there's a whole gamut of emotion coupled with my desire for more control for whatever reason, but we need to remember that my beliefs are filtered inwardly toward my historic experience of emotion. For example, let's say that I wasn't allowed to express mad or sad in my home. Now, this is a hypothetical example, but I'll tell you a true story about me. I was raised in a family business, and of course you have to put on a happy face for the customers. So I really could not express anger or sadness. I needed to show that I was happy because their customer satisfaction meant translated into us getting our bills paid because they would return and spend money. So those things were not encouraged in our family, at least from the time that we were open, and that was most of the year, until the time that we came home at night. Let's say that my friend has historically rewarded my experience of, hey, I'm glad to see you. And that's a good thing. So I get a lot of positive feedback when I see them and vice versa. And so I do want to see them and experience those happy feelings again. On the other hand, neither of us has ever expressed feeling bad, meaning fearful or guilty, in our friendship. So we don't know how to do that well, even if there's something that we are fearful or nervous about, such as my concern that it might not go as well as we hope, that they might have higher expectations and I might disappoint them, and that makes me nervous. If I've not had any experience or a positive experience anyway in expressing feelings of fear, then the chances of me doing that is not as good. Let's say too that I want to suppress any of my frustration or anger because I've not done it well in the past, or when I did try to do it, it wasn't received well, and so I want to kind of push that down. But I also feel on edge about them if they call today, because maybe today was particularly busy, or I've got some other opportunities, or I'm just tired and I'm feeling even more vulnerable about how that might go. And if they call, I really don't know how I'm going to handle it. Bottom line is I'm not sure if I will clam up or blow up. So that set the stage. The stressor is somebody wants more time with me, somebody important to me, hypothetical situation. And if I'm not processing my emotions well, there's a lot of different ways this could go wrong. We're going to take a specific example of what might actually happen because of my historic expression of action. Remember, we said that we inwardly filter our emotions through our past experience of how those were rewarded or neglected or even rejected, but we outwardly filter our emotions in terms of our historic expression of action, how we have done that in the past. Not just experienced it inwardly, but expressed it outwardly and what the impact of that was. Let's say for the case of discussion that I have been detached, which is a dismissive, avoidant attachment style, mainly because I experienced neglect. Now I've chosen this one out of the four. If you saw the previous video, there are 4 types of attachment styles. I've chosen this one because it is on the rise in our culture, and we need to be able to address it in ourselves and others because it's going to become more prominent. Again, as the slide said, it's largely because of foundations in neglect in what should be more intimate relationships. And think about our culture. We're becoming more and more busy, more and more technologically advanced. We've got more and more dual income parents. We've got kids with their faces in tablets and phones and computers. Less and less intimate relationship of hearing each other, understanding each other, forgiving each other, committing to each other. It's much more superficial and it's much busier. So emotions are being neglected because relationship is being neglected. Now, all that translates into a detached attachment style because of emotional neglect and relational neglect. Let's say that my friend calls to schedule a time this weekend. I feel glad that he or she sees me as a person of worth, but I also feel bad that it might not be as great as either of us hope. And I feel mad that I have to choose between this and other opportunities for this weekend. And I feel sad that by this weekend I might be too exhausted to be of any good company to them. So even before we've met, I'm experiencing the full gamut of emotion, a mixture of emotion that can make it difficult to be with that other person, to have any type of genuine relationship, to understand myself, to be making intentional decisions. And from the very outset, I am handicapped in that. So here's some bad ways it could go specifically. Let's say that I ask not to meet with them, but to talk on the phone instead because I want more control about when to end the time together. I talk mostly on light, superficial topics to avoid any potential conflict between us or my failure in the conversation. And I get real quiet when he or she teases me in order to control my own anger. And I throw a quick jab back, either to end the time or to prep for my explosion, not sure which yet. But eventually I decide to laugh it off and tell them I've got to go. It's been nice talking. Now, was I honest with myself or them? No. I've been reactive to the mixture of my emotions going on there. And remember, the question is, what is honorable and helpful to my organization? If you've seen the previous videos, you know that we are an organization of elements within us. We are our values, we have beliefs in the context of relationship, we have emotions, and we have actions. And those 5 things are always working systemically in us. But we have to ask the question, what is honorable in the moment in the relationship and helpful to our organization, both me individually as an organization or a system, and with the other person, which could be my spouse, my friend, one of my kids, a coworker, because we are part of group organizations as well. So that's what wrong can look like if we react to a mixture of emotions. Tune in with me next week and we'll look at what right can look like when we filter through that and make some intentional decisions to think and drink H2O, what's honorable and helpful to our organization. And I hope you'll join us then. At the release date of this video, I am stationed with Research, Development, and Engineering Command, RDECOM, at Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland. Because the majority of our personnel are in this area, I spend most of my time here. I do, however, travel to our distant units based on command priorities and budget. I place these videos on YouTube for broad visibility to Army personnel and their families, but I hope the videos will be helpful to others too. If you are assigned to RDECOM and want to request specific topics by video, training on site or by VTC, or confidential counseling on site or by secure webcam, you can contact me at jeffrey.d.dillard.mil@mail.mil.